Hey team, welcome to Thursday the 23rd of September, level 3. Yes, good job team, we've made it here so far. Let's keep it up. Alright, so what we're going to go through first of all is going to go through a 5-minute EMOM. So both these movements will go through in that same minute block for 5 minutes. Okay, so first of all we're going to start off with 6 cossack squats for our warm up. Okay, so nice wide stance, shifting to the side. So that would be 2. Alright, go through 6. Once we finish those 6, we're going to go straight down into a downward dog into Cobra. Okay, so what we'll start off with is up in this pike position here, and then we're going to come down, hips to the floor, chest up. Okay, 6 of those, nice and controlled through. So we're going to be doing this for 5 minutes as an EMOM, so both those movements need to be done each minute for 5 minutes. Once we've finished that 5-minute EMOM, we are going to go into just some hip and shoulder mobility, okay, just to loosen up for our strength piece and of course into our conditioning for the day. So some ideas with hip stretches, okay, so thinking about getting into this lunging position here, thinking about tucking your pelvis underneath and pushing your bum forward, okay, feel that stretch right up into your hip. Think about keeping your core engaged rather than arching your back too much. So squeezing down and through, holding that for about a minute on each side. Some other ideas for our shoulders, okay, I was thinking about hands on a seat or the couch. I'm just going to stretch through and hold for a bit. You can get even further into this, thinking about elbows up and then through, getting those triceps and into those lats a little bit more. Getting some good stretches through there. Alright, and then of course, to loosen up the hips a little bit, we can go into some holds, okay? So just stretch out whatever you need to in terms of your hips and your shoulders, okay, to loosen you up for that strength piece. Alright, then after that we're going to go into our strength. So today, if you're doing the barbell side, you've got some tech work for your snatches. Okay, so what we have first of all is we've got some different positions that we're going to be working through. Okay, so starting at the hip and then going down to the hang and then tap and go from the floor. Okay, so it's going to be a complex. If you do have a weight that's fairly light for this complex, add 2 reps to each of the movements. So the first one is our hip snatch. Instead of 1, you'll do 3. Then you'll go to hang snatch. Instead of 2, you'll do 4. And then into those tap and go snatches. Instead of 3, you'll do 5. Okay, so that's if we have some light weight. If we don't, we've got heavier weight, then just stay with those rep ranges. Okay, so first of all, what we do is we have the hip snatch. So what we're doing is picking that barbell up from the floor, deadlifting it up nice and tall, keeping nice and tight at the top of the back, dipping down to that hip, and then we're going to go exploding up into that snatch. This can be power or squat, ideally squat. Okay, start working on that squat position. Alright, after that we're bringing it down, we're going to push the hips back, hinge forward. Okay, what's important here is my shoulders over the bar, chest is up nice and proud, nice and active, and then I'm going to snap back through, catch, stand back up, and then repeat that same position again for 2 reps, standing back up, and then from here we're going down to a tap and go from the floor. Okay, so what's it going to look like is you're going to bring it down by leading with the elbows, turn over, aim for the hips, push the hips back, slide the hips. As soon as we get past the knees, the hips come down with it, up, tap the floor, snap back through, and then back up. So however the bar comes back up is the same way it goes down. Okay, so down, bang, there, tap, snap back, and open up for 3 reps. Okay, and we're going to do this every 2 minutes for 10 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes on, and then snapping into that next 2-minute block each time. Okay, you should be getting a good amount of rest each time. It shouldn't take you any longer than a minute easily to get through this complex. Okay, so making sure that it's unbroken. Okay, we're moving on through that barbell cycling stuff there. Okay, if we're on the dumbbell kettlebell side, same thing again, every 2 minutes for 10 minutes, so 5 rounds. Okay, we have 2 squat snatches, 2 hang power snatches, 2 overhead squats, and this is each side. Okay, so you'll do one side and then move to the other. Okay, so from here, starting from the floor, squat snatch. Okay, I'll do it both on one side, stand it up, and then I'm going to go into hang power snatch. Okay, through 2 reps, and then after that second rep, into my overhead squat, and then I'll repeat on the opposite side. Okay, so that both sides need to be done within that 2-minute block. Okay, so still thinking about good positioning here. I'm not swinging that the dumbbell, kettlebell out in front of me. I'm still thinking about trying to pull, lead the elbow, turn over and catch. Thinking about that overhead squat position, keeping it overhead, keeping that range smooth through that squat. Alright, then we're into no equipment. Okay, so with our no equipment side, what we have is same thing again every 2 minutes. Okay, and this is going to be for same thing, 5 rounds for 10 minutes. Alright, we're going to be starting off with 8 to 12 pistols. Okay, so if you're able to do full range pistol, you got that. Okay, so alternating through for 8 to 12. Obviously, if you can do pistols, but that rep range is a bit too much, scale it back a little bit further, that's fine. Okay, or we can go to some pistol progressions. Okay, so you can be squatting to a seat or a couch or some sort of bench, okay, or target. Alright, what we're going to be making sure of here is that I'm not squatting down and then just sitting down and then swinging myself back up. I want to be thinking it as a guide, not a seat. Okay, so I'm sitting down, tap and stand. Okay, not bouncing, just a touch and then stand. Think about creating as much tension as possible through that pistol squat. Okay, some other options are you can hold onto a stick or something, down into that pistol, and then standing back up. Okay, alright, so that's your some options with the pistols. Okay, if you're unable to do anything like that at all, just go more towards the strength side and thinking about reverse lunges, okay, and keeping that low and nice and smooth. Okay, and the remaining time of that 2 minutes, you've got 10 handstand push-ups or 2 to 3 wall walks. Okay, so I'm going to work within my small little range here. Okay, so handstand push-ups, when we're thinking about being nice and aggressive and opening up our hips, snapping open, keeping nice and tight at the top. Okay, think of it like a push press. Okay, so I'm down, I'm going to snap open and then locking out. We don't want to be in this position where I'm jacking up my back and losing any strength through my shoulders or balance. Alright, so thinking about kicking up on the wall. Alright, so I'm coming down, head, snapping open, okay, and locking out overhead. If we're unable to do any handstand push-up, okay, we can do wall walks instead. So same thing, trying to keep as perfect as possible through these wall walks. Okay, nice and controlled, all the way up as best you can. And then nice and controlled, back down to the floor. Okay, 2 to 3 reps. If even 2 is a bit too much, scale it back to 1 perfect one, okay, if we need to. Alright, and that's every 2 minutes, once again for 10 minutes. Cool, and that will be our strength skill work that we will be working through to start off with. Then we're going to work on over to our conditioning piece. So conditioning piece is a 9-minute AMRAP to start off with. The first block is a 9-minute AMRAP. So what we have is we've got the AMRAP will go up by 3 reps each time. So we're going to go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 of each of the movements. Okay, so for instance, our first movement through the ranges, if you're doing the barbell, we've got Sumo Deadlift high pull with your barbell. Okay, so hands in line with the shoulders, nice and angled off. Okay, so hips are down too. I'm not bent over here. I'm down, up, extend through, nice and high, up to that collarbone, back towards the hips, and then back to the floor. Okay, so cycling through 3 reps of those. If you're doing the dumbbell version or kettlebell, all right, sitting there, same position, yeah, up, pull, back down again. Okay, if we've got no equipment at all, we're going to do V sit-ups instead. Okay, so V ups. All right, so I'm laying flat on the floor. From here, I'm going to snap up, touch my toes. Okay, and from there, if we're unable to touch our toes due to mobility, okay, you can always aim for mid-shin, okay, or knees, as long as we're getting those shoulders and those feet up together at the same time. So we'll go through 3 reps of those to one of those to start off with, depending on what you have. Okay, then we've got shoulder to overhead. If you've got barbell, all right, you can do this as a push press, okay, or a jerk. All right. If we've got a dumbbell or a kettlebell, we've got dumbbell to overhead or kettlebell to overhead. All right. If we are doing a body weight version instead, then we have down up. All right. So down to the floor, stand up nice and tall. No jump. We just want to extend the hips, get nice and tall before we go back down to the floor. All right. So we'll go into 3 reps of one of those movements. And then we're going to go into 3 reps of mountain climbers. Okay, so hands planted, hands under the shoulders, up, 2, 3, nice and easy. It's the easiest amount of mountain climbers you'll ever do in your life, okay, and then back to the top, go through that 6 reps of that sumo or that V up, okay, then 6 of the shoulder to overhead or the down ups, back to the mountain climbers for 6, then 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on until 9 minutes is up. At 9 minutes, we're going to rest 3 minutes, so we'll rest until 12, okay. Then for time, okay, with a 9-minute cap on it, we have a 400-meter run, okay. If you're unable to run due to space or anything like that, or if you've got a machine, you can do a 400-meter row, or you can do a 30-calorie bike, 22 for the ladies, all right. Or if you have to skip, okay, what I would suggest is skip something that's going to get you skipping for about 1.5 minutes-ish consistently, okay. If you have to break those up quickly, that's fine, okay, but give you something to work for about 1.5 minutes. Alright, so set a number for that, okay, and then we've got 40 kick sits, okay, so hands here, in line with the shoulders, kicking through, okay, shifting through, okay, 40 reps total of those, and then finishing off with a 400-meter run again, okay. So we've got the 9-minute AMRAP, 3-minute rest, 9-minute cap, but those 2 movements for time, so the run, kick sits, run, finished, okay, with a 9-minute cap on that, okay. That is your Thursday team, alright, hope everyone's safe, stay safe, hope everyone's not going too crazy on those KFCs and McDonald's. I know I'm excited for it, but have a good one team, and hopefully see you soon.